All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the WD Carousel podcast. My name's Ian.
And I'm Crystal.
And, wow. Okay, so we're talking about resorts.
Again,
because...
Pretty quick back-to-back with this one, but we had to shift our schedule a little bit to deal with the holidays as well as a little bit of time off and then the Disneyland trip and just...
There's a lot going on right now.
It is,
so...
but we're talking about another vacation spot.
So, like, what is there to complain about, right?
Exactly.
And a deluxe one, too, so...
Yeah, I know. I mean, in Minnesota right now, I think the high today was what, like 5?
Yeah, it was something,
so let's talk about someplace warm, someplace comfortable.
Yes.
And honestly, this is one of the... spoiler, just a little spoiler. This is one of the resorts that I would say is it's in everything.
Yeah.
It's definitely a resort that can be a standalone on its own, take it away from the Disney parks, and it's still just as entertaining, just as everything.
Yes.
And we're talking about the Boardwalk Resort.
Yes, Boardwalk. So just some basic stats. The Boardwalk is actually opened later than I thought it did.
Oh, really?
Which is weird. Yeah, I thought it opened in the late 80s for some reason, but turned out it was July 1st, 1996.
Yeah, it opened up around the same time that the Yacht and Beach Club were being built and everything too. That whole Crescent Lake area just kind of like bloop.
It just kind of came up out of nowhere.
Yeah, like mushrooms.
Like mushrooms. They come overnight. You just don't know where they came from. Yeah. Bloop.
Yeah. Some specs in regards to that, there are 378 rooms on the inside, and then there are 383 DVC villas.
Gotcha.
Because this is also a DVC property as well. Both created at the same time, so it's not like some of them where it was originally a resort and then they added on the DVC aspect or they broke it up.
Right.
This was one that had the intention of it being DVC. And then, just for giggles, guess how much these run a night?
Like on like the high end or the low end?
Oh, we're doing the Spectrum again.
Spectrum again? Okay. I did see the numbers, but I don't remember them exactly. So I'm gonna say like the very cheapest I want to say is like 400 because it's a deluxe resort.
Okay.
And then the top is probably like because it's again like DVC craziness. You could probably get like 1,200 a night.
More on the high end and less on the low end.
Okay.
So I was able to find rooms for about $330 a night, with rumors of $280 being out there. I know.
That's surprising.
Kind of shocking.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those rooms don't exist for long and are snatched up right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on the high end, they're talking like $1,626 a night. Okay. But once we get into an explanation of the rooms, that should make a little bit more sense.
Right. Awesome. So let us. So we've kind of talked about that a little bit. The Crescent Lake area, which is where it is, it's kind of situated between Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which is kind of an interesting spot, honestly, because Hollywood Studios is in kind of a central location too that I just kind of not. I always forget where Hollywood Studios is, basically, is my thing. Yeah. It's like I know where the Magic Kingdom is, I know where Epcot is, and I know where Animal Kingdom is, and the fact that it's like 1,000 miles away. And then Hollywood Studios, I'm like, oh yeah, you're a park too. I suppose you're somewhere.
You're a park, and there's not a hotel name attached to you. There's not a hotel that we talk about being linked to you.
Right.
So we forget that
you have a resort
you're accessible
area.
in other ways outside of a bus.
Yeah, and we will also get to that. But so it.
Why don't we talk about the transport?
Should we talk to transport now?
Yeah,
All right,
since we're kind of talking about
jump down there.
Yeah.
So cool thing. I always love when a resort has a boat because I'm that guy. Which it does. So it's got.
It's the same boat system as the last resort.
Yeah. So you've got. As Yacht and Beach had, you've got access boats to Hollywood Studios, Epcot, because that's how I wrote it up there. Epcot.
It's a long day
It's been a long day for us. You can go, of course, to Yacht and Beach and also Swan and Dolphin.
And then the Boardwalk Resort, which is what we're talking about.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I've done that loop before, and it's pretty easy on a boat. It is even handicap accessible if you're using a scooter or a wheelchair as well.
Nice. Yeah. And obviously, as we're talking about transit, the buses are literally like the bus system, so you can literally go anywhere you want. because that's just the way it works. So you got that. And then also walking is an option to a couple of places.
Yeah.
You can walk to Epcot, which is neat because that's where, is that the International Gateway?
Yeah, so it's about a 5-10 minute walk from the Boardwalk property. So it's not as close as Yacht and Beach is. It's a little bit longer, but I mean 5-10 minutes is nothing.
Being able to go to Epcot, that's super cool. And so once you get to Epcot, obviously since that's like one of the major theme park hub areas, you can get on the monorail as you do, and then also the Skyliner, which I keep forgetting about being a thing at Epcot.
And it's right there at the International Gateway where you would be entering in from these resorts by walking anyways. So.
Right, which is cool. And that gives you access to a whole other set of things.
And like we talked about last time, to get access to the monorail, you have to actually cut through Epcot. So you need to have like a park hopper or an annual pass to be able to do that, because you can't just skirt around Epcot to get to the monorail. You have to actually cut through.
Right. So that can definitely cause some hampering in your setup. However,
but if you are hankering to ride the monorail,
you can absolutely do it. And if you're a person that if you are at that resort, it might be worth having the hopper pass for that reason. So very cool. But we'll head back up. Whee!
Yeah.
We can, and because we love to talk about the food options, because that's who we are.
Yes. Now, I did not write these in any particular order.
That's probably for the best.
I think it might have gone accidentally alphabetical for the most part.
Awesome.
So. But that was more like write it down, write it down, write it down. Oh, squeak this guy in. Write it down, write it down, write it down.
Funny.
Oh, what about this guy?
Yeah.
So the Bellevue Lounge is where we're going to start. And the Bellevue Lounge is a lounge that is inside of the inside of the inside. Y'all get me.
You're there. You got it.
Boardwalk Resort. And it's up on the second story. It looks just like a couch lounge area.
Sure.
And you can easily think it's just a relaxation corner, when in fact it is a full lounge, and there they do a breakfast in the morning and then drinks in the evening. They don't have food options at night, but it is a place for you to be able to relax and have a cocktail.
I got you. So it's a cocktail lounge in the evening, but it does breakfast in the morning?
Yeah, I think it's like a grab and go sort of situation. Sweet. So it's not like full plated, sit downs, all of that.
Love a good grab and go for breakfast, especially. Oftentimes, obviously there's times to do like a sit down breakfast, and we'll probably talk about that.
This place actually has a lot more food options just due to the actual boardwalk being there.
For sure.
So we're going to be hopping around between inside, outside, a lot more outside versus
inside
on direct,
in the property.
Yeah,
itself.
In the actual
resort area.
In the inn.
Inn. So after that, we've got Big River Grill and Brewing. I think there was more to it than that, but I forgot the last word.
This is the only microbrewery on property. They actually make beer there and have the full brewery, and you can ask them for a tour, and you can see the big silver,
not distilling, fermenting vats and stuff.
Whatever they are. I just drink it. I don't know it. But you can get, microbrews there, which I think is a really neat feature.
I know that in other places in the parks, you can get local brews. But being actually able to have a brewery on property is interesting. I didn't know they even had one. That's pretty neat. But so that's a thing. Do you know what the food kind of stuff is there?
I think it's like bar food. I've seen big pretzels talked about before, that sort of thing.
For whatever reason in my mind, I inserted Granite City. But I feel like it's probably more pubby than that.
Yeah, that doesn't have as big of a list as you probably are thinking of food, so definitely not Granite City level. But they still do have food, unlike a lot of the breweries that are up here where they either have beer or food. Rarely both.
Fair enough. Very good. All right.
Yeah.
And then
it attacked me. It's still attacking me.
We got some microphone issues here. They become sentient. It's terrifying. And I think it's the Boardwalk Bakery. I was transcribing your...
Yes, it is the Boardwalk Bakery.
Perfect.
Good job.
I know. Well, it's funny because usually when I was guessing what your words were, I was always correct the first time, then I second-guessed myself. That's the kind of person I am. Anyway, Boardwalk Bakery. Is it just a standard run-of-the-mill bakery?
It is, but it is so good, it is always jam-packed with lines out the door.
Of course it is.
And I mean, for a grab and go, I always love me some fresh bakery. The caveat with that for me would be Epcot is literally just right there. And entering in at the International Gateway means France's right there. So
that would be, again, just have a hopper pass while you're there. And
I mean,
go right into Epcot.
It's up to you. Like I said, this can definitely be a standalone resort, and you'll see why as we go.
Right.
But this is a great bakery if you don't want to go to France.
Right. If you're too lazy to walk through the International Gateway.
If you don't want to travel to France,
you can stop at the Gateway. It's probably the same kitchen.
It is not, but
it could be.
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's too far away. That and they're putting Ratatouille right in between.
Oh, right.
So, no.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Ending the walkway towards the International Gateway, you are going to find the big ESPN Club, which is...
We spend a lot of time there.
Yeah. It's almost always jam-packed for games. Every single booth has its own separate TV. The bathrooms have their own TVs in the stalls, so you can make sure that you're not missing anything.
That feels wrong to me.
Food is not good, but it's always jam-packed for games.
The food is not good, but that's not why you're there.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Is it even like to the level of like Buffalo Wild Wings?
Oh, possibly comparable.
To me, like Buffalo Wild Wings is like the lowest. Like that's like okay.
Okay, let me put it this way. It is above Dinosaur in Disney Springs.
Okay.
For food review options, but it is not one that we are going to do anytime soon.
I have no complaints about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a couple little kiosks out on the boardwalk as well. So there's the to-go cart, which has sort of carnival-style foods.
So, yeah, stuff you'd expect to see on, like, an old, like, Atlantic City style kind of...
Yeah. Okay. So, if you want to...
Oh, yeah,
just a little bit, because I have these all, like, intermixed...
Oh, I see.
Down, please.
Understood. Funnel stands we're looking for?
There's the funnel stand, which is super fun, and they also sell fried ice cream.
Awesome. I want that.
And then there is Boardwalk Joes, which does not do coffee anymore. It was above.
Oh, of course it was.
The funnel cake.
But
they do Dole Whip and margaritas now.
Oh, that's fun.
I know. It has nothing to do with Joe's anymore.
Boardwalk Joes. Yeah, we just...
I think underneath, because I think it still says Boardwalk Joe's up top, but I think it says Midway Margaritas on the bottom.
Oh, funny.
But they just kept the Boardwalk Joe's.
Do they serve any coffee at all?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just now Dole Whip stuff and margaritas.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yep. We'll just work back up the list backwards then here. The Ample Hills Creamery is there. The original location for the Ample Hills Creamery for a Disney World property.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you don't know about them, they are a different company primarily found in New York in a couple like high-end shops, and it's like said to be the best ice cream on property. And they're going to be actually opening an Ample Hills Creamery now in Disney Springs.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that'll be easy to get to.
Yeah.
For those that don't want to make the huge trek to Boardwalk. For their ice cream.
Right. That's cool.
There is a pizza place.
A pizza
window.
Yes,
There's a pizza window.
Right.
Where you can get really bad pizza.
Is it really bad pizza?
It's Disney pizza. I mean, nobody really likes Disney style pizza. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, this is true.
And then there is Trattoria Al Forno.
Yes.
Which is the newly, I'm going to say newly, but it's been there for a few years.
Fairly recently, anyway.
Italian place, and they do character breakfasts in the morning with Rapunzel and Flynn, and I believe Eric and Ariel.
Well, that's cool that they do the
princes as well as the princesses.
That cannot be very common.
Not at all, which is why I'm shocked that more people don't know about this place, because with the big, hunt for characters and stuff, to be able to find a prince is very rare.
Let alone two with their other.
Yes, with their spouses. So it's a good option for you to go to. The food's pretty good. And then the signature dining of the area is Flying Fish Cafe.
Is that actually signature dining?
It is signature dining.
Okay.
For a while, it was known as the best seafood on property. Then it did go down a little bit, but I heard they're coming back.
Okay.
So eventually I'm going to try it out again.
Have you been before?
I walked by it. Thanks for calling me out on the podcast, Ian.
I was just curious if you'd had a personal experience, but
I've had other personal experiences. but not with flying fish.
Not with flying fish. That's fair. That's fair. We all have, yeah.
And then just to kind of sneak it in there are pool bars as well.
Right. And like,
I don't have.
If they have names, who cares?
I think it's like the leaping horse or something like that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And speaking of pools, should we just jump right to pools?
Oh, sure. Let's get into amenities and attractions and things around here.
That's all we've got, really.
So if you've been listening to us for a while, you've heard us talk about the top pools at Disney. And then there was this, which is not even an honorable mention. It is a hilarious mention.
It was a special mention. Like we threw it in there because we had to.
We couldn't not say anything.
Yeah. So that episode was about 1,000 years ago, but that one we focused on because it's. How do you even explain like the full extent of what it is? But basically,
well, you bring children, and children want to go to the pool.
Right.
They might not even be interested in the parks; they just want to go to the pool.
Right.
And so that's part of you deciding where you wanted to stay.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, we looked at them all.
We did.
And then we came across this one.
Yeah, and so...
And then it gave us nightmares.
It gave us nightmares. It's really a standard, they went for that, they kind of tried to follow the boardwalk... Carnival-style thing.
Esque.
Including a water slide. However...
It's a 200-foot water slide, by the way.
Is it actually 200 feet?
Yes. It is a huge water slide.
Crazy.
They have it set up kind of like the old wooden roller coasters with the wooden structure around it and everything. So, I mean, the theming is there.
Including,
but then the theming is there.
Yeah. So as you depart the slide into the pool, you go through the mouth of a giant terrifying 1920s clown.
Yeah.
And it's
like beyond Bozo the clown. It's like a mixture of Bozo and It.
Yes.
And it is throwing up children.
It throws up children all day. It's really it's awful. It is terrible.
Could you imagine it at night with the lights of the pool area and everything glaring on the face? This face, I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe this. It is a story tall by a room wide white face, and then the red wiggly hair comes out even further from that at the same height, another room distance on both sides. So it is a monstrous, creepy face.
Yeah, it's
this
bad.
was Disney trying to figure out theming.
Ugh.
And this is where they went too far.
It was you did the thing, but why though? Yeah.
On that, let's go to some other things
you can do. Yeah.
There. I don't want to give these people nightmares.
This is true. We're not going to show it to you. Are we going to throw it in as one of the thumbnails?
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, you guys.
I mean,
if we do it, I'm sorry.
If you guys want a picture of it, it's also... I mean, you can Google it, but we also talk about it, and I think we have it referenced in our Best Pools episode,
which is some really early episode.
But yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So other things you can do that are even kind of unique to Boardwalk or a couple of the deluxe resorts, you can get a Surrey bike for rental, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a four-wheeled kind of bike structured thing with the kind of Surrey canopy on top of it, and then everyone can pedal.
You're still pedaling.
You're still pedaling.
You're still working.
But you can get 4 people, and they have to. But you know that one person won't carry their own weight, and it turns into a whole thing. But anyway, I think we did it once as a family one time
down in
Disney.
Disney.
Years ago. That was. I think they had it at Port Orleans at the time.
That'd be nice.
I don't know if they did, but I have this memory of it. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I was warned that if you do the Surrey bike on this, though, there are 2 hills. If you're going around Crescent Lake, there's 2 hills to watch out for.
Yeah.
So just know you're gonna put a little bit of extra effort in there.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, then you can go and have a beer after. It's fine. It's kind of fun, but I'd prefer it a pedal pub or something. Maybe I don't know. I got nothing.
I've done a pedal pub too.
Yeah.
No.
Apparently they have guided fishing excursions.
They do. So that's part of the thing about Crescent Lake is it's an area where you can do bass fishing. And so they offer these guided excursions where they'll take you out on a pontoon. They'll bring you to an area. You'll go out for X number of minutes, hours, whatever you decide to rent it for.
Right.
And it's catch and release, so you don't get to keep anything.
Okay.
But it is, an option for the more outdoorsy people.
That's kind of cool. I didn't even know that they had fishing at all. I mean, I knew that there must be fish in some of them, but like, I would never expect to like try to catch a fish out of anything on a Disney
And
property.
one thing that I've learned last year as I started to try getting into fishing, bass will eat anything.
That's true. They do.
As long as it wiggles and it's near their face, they will go for it.
They are good. They are good with whatever. So you got the outdoorsy thing. They also have campfires outside.
Yeah, the normal, we're going to roast marshmallows over this fire area. So they have that. And along with that, they do the outdoor movie as well every night. So
right.
that's pretty standard for almost any
resort.
Yeah,
even
any Disney resort.
Yeah, because I know when we were at Port Orleans, they had it too.
And they had that at...
All-Star?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a thing.
But then we get into the bougie area.
Yes, and so as we talk about the bougie area, we can't forget about the tennis courts.
Tennis courts, woo!
Yeah, I'm assuming they have rental for all the stuff for that.
Oh, probably. Have I ever done it?
No. I can play a mean game of badminton though, but I'm horrible at tennis. Cannot play tennis.
Well, badminton is really slow, and we're not going to get into it.
It's very just like you can kind of like
it's very
watch
country
it happen.
club.
It's very nice. I'm a big fan of badminton. Tennis is a lot. I'm not about
And then
that.
one of the neat features about the Boardwalk Resort is at night they bring out all of these midway games out on the actual boardwalk. So like the ring toss and the ball tosses and all of that, and they have a whole bunch of barkers where it's like magicians and contortionists and all of like the street performer stuff.
So they try to create that midway boardwalk Atlantic City experience.
It helps bring the ambiance more involved in it.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about nightlife, why don't we just
nightlife.
Yeah, there's a couple
stuff about nightlife.
Yeah, there's a couple different things on here that you're able to do. So we'll talk about the Abracadab Bar first.
Abracadabra. The first time I read it, I was like, oh, okay.
Yes, it is a bar that is themed after magicians. So it feels like, what's the club that they have in Hollywood where it's like all of these famous magicians have like their little club and everything, and like all the way years and years and years ago, there was Houdini and all of those guys that were members. I don't remember the name of it. I don't know either. But they harken back to that again. So we're talking like Houdini posters up on the wall, drinks. This is where those color changing drinks first started coming out, where it'd be like, it comes to you blue and then all of a sudden, or green, and then all of a sudden it changes to blue or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a little pricey, but I mean, this is Disney drinks. So you're going to be...
Welcome to pricey.
Exactly. So you're going to have, the fun little magician ambiance there. And then we'll go into the Atlantic Dance Hall. So, do you know anything about the Atlantic Dance Hall?
I actually do not know anything about the Atlantic Dance Hall.
My love, darling.
I don't.
Okay, so it was created around the time when Pleasure Island, which we have done an episode on, was so popular that they were having to block people from coming in.
Right, because it was like a sealed off area.
Yes. So Disney, in its wisdom, decided to give them another place to go and to acquire their money. And so they created the Atlantic Dance Hall in this area.
Okay.
Which then, after the 2 weeks of Pleasure Island's extreme popularity, and then it started dying off, as we know, the Atlantic Dance Hall has been pretty much dead ever since then. I think I was listening to the Diz Unplugged, and they said that, the last time it was popular was like 1997.
Oof, because the whole thing happened in 96, so...
Yep. So then... I had to like double check and research it. They're still technically open.
But does anybody ever go? Like, is it just like not?
No, like the only people who show up are the couple people that try, and they're like extremely drunk, and they're like dancing their butts off to this 80s music the video is playing on the wall, and they're trying to like copy the dance moves in front of it, and there's like 3 people there, or the occasional wedding party that leaves the reception or can't afford that long of a reception at Disney, let's be honest, and then they show up here and then it's 80s and 90s music.
Yeah.
Until 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's rough.
Yeah, I thought it had closed by now.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had to search, and it's still open.
Still open. Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, and then there's one more.
There is one more, and this is an extension of Pleasure Island that has done well.
Yeah.
To the point of it's still doing very well.
And that would be Jelly Rolls, the piano bar, right?
Yeah, it's a dueling piano bar.
Because of course it is.
Yeah.
And I know a friend of ours just was there with his family, and he said it was packed.
Oh, yeah.
Packed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are times where it's still, you can't get in the door.
That's crazy.
And
Wow.
they play music on request. Obviously, request is normally tips,
Right,
but
okay,
it has to be family friendly. This is not one where you can ask them to pull out a song with profanities or whatever. So just make sure that you're keeping it as family friendly as possible, even though this is a 21 plus bar, just like the Atlantic Dance Hall's 21 plus.
I love that.
I don't know why, but Jelly Rolls is just a fun place to go, and it's still a fun place to go, and I would highly recommend it if you are looking for something to do that is not just your average bar.
Yeah. Very, very
It is
fair.
the night spot of Disney.
Yes. Yes.
Literally, I'm not even like exaggerating there. It is the night
it was, like,
spot.
the actual night spot. Yeah, that
of
was
Disney.
that was what Chad had kind of said. It was like that's where everybody was, which is crazy. Everyone left Pleasure Island and they went right to Jelly Rolls.
Yes, everybody that was at Pleasure Island
They
fit
all
Jelly Rolls.
went into Jelly Rolls, which is tiny. Anyway.
Well, let's actually talk about the resort a little bit more instead of just like the boardwalk area and stuff.
Yeah. So some of the other things, it's a deluxe resort and it's a DVC property, so which means that you get the club level, which we've talked about a little bit before, where
Yes.
you've got the kind of, it's like the you're even better than the rest of them.
You're
kind of
paying
thing.
even more.
Yes. So they've got the Innkeepers Club Private Lounge, which I don't actually know is a thing in other resorts that have a club level.
No, they have like private areas, private floors where
Yeah.
you can't get on, but this is an actual like lounge for
That's
people to
pretty
come
cool.
up with. And it actually has some pretty good amenities in there
Yeah.
that come with it.
Oh, so you can get like breakfast. So they've got like a full like continental breakfast for free. Like, and I shouldn't say free, included with the price, which is crazy because I don't think there is continental breakfast anywhere on a Disney resort, really.
No. I mean, a couple of the other club level places do like a little
buffet out in
snack
the-
bar
yeah.
or offer maybe one or two hot items, but it's not
Yeah.
like full on complimentary continental breakfast.
Right. Absolutely. And then on top of that, in the afternoon, you get an English tea service, which
They
is
do.
amazing. That
It's so pretentious.
I have never had like a tea service before.
I should take you.
All right.
Where did that accent come from? I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
That is
I don't even know what
ridiculous.
accent that was. Okay.
Just slipped in and out of it, and we don't know what happened. That's the thing.
And then at night, they also do something as well. They do desserts, cordials, wine, and cheese. Just a nice little
Yeah. That's pretty
layout,
cool.
a nice little spread
Yeah,
for you.
And if your club level bougie room isn't enough for you, you need to go even farther.
Oh
than
my
that.
God. Okay, so this is my dream. Although most of them are 2 stories and I can't go upstairs.
Well, that's not part of this. That's just it's whatever you.
It's my dream.
It's your dream. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
And what we're talking about is there are, 14? There are 14, only 14
of them in the whole resort, which is crazy.
in all of Disney.
Right.
There is not another room that is comparable to this.
Right.
At
right,
all.
Right. And
When I
they're-
first saw them, I showed you pictures of
Yes,
it.
I remember.
And we were like, what? Is this real?
Is this a real thing? And like, how unbelievably much would this cost to get if you can even book it?
I don't want to know.
Right, and so this is the garden suites. They also call them the honeymoon cottages, but they are almost all of them, right? Are 2-story cottages.
Correct. There are just a couple that are single story.
Single story. Okay.
But yeah.
And they call them garden cottage or garden suites because they have an actual front garden.
Yes,
with
they have a
little
full
fence.
fenced-in yard with sculpted rose garden, your own personal sculpted rose garden, and it has like this own little mailbox outside of the gate and everything. And so you're like walking, you have your own like little entrance from a quiet pool, because there's 2 other quiet pools on property.
Yep.
But you have the entrance from the quiet pool, and you open your little gate that is a white picket fence.
Yes.
And then you walk into your sculpted rose garden where all of the rose bushes are laid out beautifully, and there might be either like a fountain or a sculpture in there or something.
So ridiculous.
And then you walk up to your suite where it's 2 stories, and the first story is just relaxation.
It's
and
just
then
ridiculous.
the second story is where the bedroom is, and it's this loft that overlooks all of the beauty and it's just, it's the dream.
It is the dream.
It's also probably way too
much
expensive.
money for any of us to ever
But
think
I won't
about.
say
I mean, I get it.
it's beautiful. It's quiet and peaceful,
Yes.
and it's located near everything, and
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Sorry, Crystal went in La La
part of
Land
the,
for a
I
second.
know, I get it. It's part of that, one of those places. It's like, that's a dream place. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that's a spot. That, and for me, a suite at the Contemporary is a place. That's something that I'd like. That's
Yes.
a dream thing.
when we are rich and famous from doing this, we will be there.
And you will have been with us right from the beginning. It'll be very exciting. But
And then just a couple extra round off
Yeah.
things. So there are there is some shopping there. There's a sweet shop. There's
Yep.
Sundry's place, because this is DVC, so they're going to
Right.
have food and everything.
Right.
They're going to have their little clothing area, which basically has the same merch that you can find all over Disney property. Nothing
Right.
special there.
Right.
The lobby is beautiful, airy, very old money feeling.
Yes,
Not
of
quite to
course.
the level
Like
of the Grand Floridian,
yeah.
but still, they have a full-size replica wooden roller coaster in there.
Oh, it, like, runs, like,
try
little-
and feel like Coney Island
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
area.
yeah.
It's cute. And then they have the creepy children chairs at the
no.
fireplace.
please do tell. I saw the
so-
note, but I didn't know anything more than that.
So there's these 2 creepy. No, there's more. Now that I remember correctly, there are these, but you'll only see 2 at a time. Chairs that you can sit on. They're actually sittable chairs that are made from these children, and then they
What?
have like these little doll pedals around their
No.
faces, and on the back side of them there are individual names for each one, and they rotate which chair is around the fireplace, and I can't remember the folklore behind them anymore, but they are creepy. So this is the resort of beauty and creepy.
Yeah. Clearly, yeah, they seem to make them live with each other the entire time, because you can be like, this is
Elegance.
beautiful, and then you're like, wow, it's a freaking clown. That's terrifying.
And Funhouse.
Yes. Yeah. It's a hard line to toe, but they do it.
They do it. So exciting.
Yes.
But that has been Boardwalk.
The Boardwalk Resort. Also, something that I didn't know about Boardwalk until I just started like doing a little bit of research on it is Boardwalk. It's all one word, like Boardwalk, but the W is capitalized, which I don't think is how you would do that. Boardwalk. Yeah, I don't think you would
Boardwalk.
actually do that in a normal, like if you just write Boardwalk. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I
so.
don't think so.
Anyway, that is all. That was like my weird little one thing that I didn't know.
But with all the things that are available there, things to do, experience, the boardwalk itself, not to mention how easy distance you are to like the Yacht and Beach Club, the Swan and Dolphin, all of those guys, you can see how this resort can be a standalone without ever having to go to the parks.
Yeah, there's just a lot to see and do.
There's enough entertainment. There's enough activities. There's always something going on. So I love it.
Yeah. I've actually never been on the boardwalk, so I will have to do that.
We will have to go.
I think we will.
But this has been WD Carousel of Podcast. My name's Crystal.
And I'm Ian.
And we hope you have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everybody.